What's up everybody, it's Moise Blanca, and we're back with another explained video where we speedrun the retelling of complicated game stories with plenty of jokes along the way. Real quick though, if you enjoy these videos, please be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, or don't. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. The algorithm makes me say this shit, but all the love you do share helps motivate me to keep making content, so thank you. This time we're discussing Persona 3 Portable, and if you're one of those that can't spare the 65 plus hours to play it, don't worry, I got you. You're a high school student who's transferring to a new school at Tatsumiport Island. He takes the late night train, and when the clock strikes midnight, the whole area turns green and coffins are everywhere, like Dracula and the Flying Dutchman tried to redecorate. Eventually, he makes it to his dorm and the place is deserted. All but this creepy ass kid who looks like he'd hide in your closet and watch you sleep. What makes it even weirder is the kid says he's been waiting a long time for you. Now he's got serial killer vibes. He hands you a contract, and canonically, the character's name is Makoto. But those of you familiar with my Persona videos know full well Daddy D's is canon for this channel. Boy utters more cryptic nonsense and disappears just before Mitsuru and Yukari show up. Naturally, they don't answer any of the 100 questions we've already have, so Makoto goes to sleep. The next day is Makoto's first day of school. We learn his parents died 10 years ago and also meet this game's lovable idiot, Junpei. Mitsuru introduces Akihiko, the resident tough guy. He's hurt now, but when he heals, he'll never take off that bandage. Even after 2 years in Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, all he does is move it to his cheek because he started listening to way too much Nelly apparently. Makoto also meets Ikutsuki, the group's advisor, who watches Makoto sleep later that night. Sus. Ikutsuki explains that every day at midnight there is a hidden 25th hour called the Dark Hour. During this time, normal people transform into coffins, but Makoto didn't. They're trying to see if he has the potential. While sleeping, Makoto enters the Velvet Room, the place between dream and reality. Everyone's favorite cracked out toucan, Igor, does the "Welcome to the Velvet Room" speech, impending doom, making choices, same shit, different game. His assistant this time is Elizabeth. She doesn't offer much to the mainline story, but I mention her to make the connection to the larger role in Persona 4 Arena Ultimax for those who've already seen that video. During another dark hour, everyone continues to be weird and watch Makoto when the dorm starts getting attacked by something big. Yukari rushes in to wake him up, but when they try to escape, they're attacked by a shadow, this thing holding its face in 6 swords. Makoto fulfills his potential when the game shows us how it chose to summon personas. You might recall Persona 4 using mystical cards. They rip off masks in Persona 5. Well, in Persona 3, you have to shoot yourself in the head with this thing called Evoker, a thing that is way too obviously a gun. And you have to shoot yourself in the head every time you want to summon your persona. Literally every single time. It's a good thing this game came out when it did, because woke Twitter would have had a field day canceling the hell out of this game if it was originally released today. Side note, just found out they're doing a remaster, so guess we'll see. Anyway, Yukari tries to shoot herself in the head, summon her persona, but she's attacked. Gun, Evoker, slides to Makoto's feet and he tries to shoot himself in the head, summon his persona for the very first time. But Persona goes all demonic and proceeds to beat the shit out of the shadow in the most brutal way possible. Makoto blacks out and Igor explains persona are the manifestation of a person's psyche. And when he wakes up, Yukari says that they use persona to fight shadows during the dark hour. Yukari's father died in an explosion 10 years ago. He was working for the Kurijo group. By the way, Mitsuru's last name is also Kurijo. Interesting. Yukari is part of this Ghostbuster-ass shadow suppression team to find answers about her father. Eventually, everyone explains the dark hour to Makoto. Their job is to defeat the shadows because when they appear, they attack people not in coffins. The shadow feeds on their minds, which turns the victim into a living corpse. The group asks Makoto to join the team and give him his own evoker. He's now officially in the shoot yourself in the head to beat up monsters club. That night, during the dark hour, that creepy kid shows up in Makoto's room. He rolled up to let Makoto that the end is near, and he'll be watching him to see if he honors his contract. The next day, Ikutsuki says he wants to start exploring Tartarus, this big-ass tower that appears at the school during the dark hour. No one knows anything about it, but you start exploring and are appointed the group leader. This is the game's main dungeon, arguably one of the most tedious in all of gaming. The group slowly works their way to the top throughout the game, but we'll revisit that later. Time goes by and this creepy kid visits your room again. I swear he's hiding in the closet. Shit is weird. He's come to warn you that there will be a full moon soon, and throughout the game continues to sneak into your room to warn you about future full moons. Creepy as fuck. When the full moon finally comes, the team encounters another major shadow. Before all you Persona gatekeepers jump me with, "Blanca, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about," Yes, I know. The Priestess Shadow design is based on the original tarot card. It's a biblical reference, whatever. Japanese devs stay simping. Her legs are spread and she has BJ written on her tits. We all know what BJ really stands for. I mean, come on. Those design choices were intentional. Anyway, the team bodies the shadow. Akihiko is healed but doesn't take off that bandage. Rumors about a missing girl named Fuka spread, and the creepy kid's back to watch you sleep / warn Makoto about the next full moon. Yukari, Junpei, and Makoto investigate Fuka's disappearance and find Shinjiro, Akihiko's old homie. He's the quintessential JRPG, mysterious, troubled past, always scowling, semi-emo kid. The team eventually figures out that Fuka was locked in the school gym at night. She entered Tartarus during the dark hour and has never made it out. They find her and on their way out run into two more major shadows. Fuka awakens her persona, Crystal Ball Blind Lady, and becomes the team's navigator. Think Rise or Futaba if you played any of the other personas. Shadows get bodied, everything is explained to Fuka, who officially joins the team, and now we know major shadows appear only during full moons. Creepy Kid visits Makoto to tell him the end is inevitable. By the way, this is how people die in horror movies. We also learn the kid's name is Pharos. He represents the Death Arcana. Again, none of this a good sign. Also not a good sign is that there are others roaming around the dark hour. Thug Jesus, Blade Maid, and Emo Ninja are out here killing people. What? Akihiko tries to recruit Shinjiro to come back to the team, but he's still emo as fucking lamenting about some mysterious past. Pharos violates your personal space again to talk about moons, and during the next full moon, the team goes to a love hotel to take out Fat Pope and Flying Heart Shadows. At the next team meeting, Yukari straight up calls Mitsuru out. What are you hiding? 10 years ago, there was an explosion near the school and unexplained things were happening to some of the students. The Kirijo group built the school. So what the fuck is up, Mitsuru? Your family owns the Kirijo group. Mitsuru's grandfather was hell-bent on harnessing the power of the shadows and started collecting them. Eventually, they lost control of the shadows, causing the formation of Tartarus, the Dark Hour, and the split amongst the 12 shadows the team is currently hunting. The experiment was conducted at the school, explaining Tartarus' location and why so many students were affected after the explosion. Mitsuru is on a mission to atone for her batshit crazy grandfather. Ikutsuki chimes in saying that the 12 major shadows are the ones causing this mess. If they are all eliminated, then Tartarus and the Dark Hour will finally be over. He urges the team to continue fighting to the top of Tartarus to uncover more information about it. The creepy kid continues to visit completely uninvited. Ikutsuki recruits an elementary school kid because putting 8-year-olds in life-threatening situations is fine, and the group invites themselves to Mitsuru's rich-ass vacation home so Junpei can simp on girls. Mitsuru's father, Skinny Sagat Rogaine, shows them footage of the incident. It's a recording of Yukari's father regretting the work he's done and urging anyone watching to destroy the shadows in order to fix their horrid mistake. Yukari's daddy issues come out and she runs away until Makoto eventually talks her down. The next day, the guys hit on this blonde, but then find out she's basically Android 18. Not like that stopped Krillin from Dragon Ball Z. Her name is Aegis and is the last anti-shadow weapon, machines infused with personas to combat shadows 10 years ago. She reactivated herself and joined the team, but like with everything in this damn game, her motivation remains a mystery. While the group is finishing their vacation, Shinjiro is given suspicious meds from Emo Ninja and informs Thug Jesus that the team intends to get rid of the Dark Hour. This they cannot allow. Another shadow appears, but this one is already defeated. Turns out Koromaru, a dog, can have a persona too. Also, I guess speaks dog, so the group adds Doggo to the squad? Game loop continues, Creepy Kid, Full Moon, Major Shadows, but this time they are approached by the other three. Finally, we learn Thug Jesus is Takaya, Emo Ninja is Jin, and the three of them make up Strega. No, not the alcohol. They're all like, fuck you can't take away the Dark Hour and our awesome powers, and lock them underground. The group takes out a walking tank with a busted smile and a cannon-wielding angelic night dwarf and eventually escape. Throughout the next couple of weeks, Aegis enrolls in Makoto's school and Shinjiro finally rejoins the group. He joined only after hearing Ken, the elementary school kid, joined. Does he have something to do with the mysterious past no one will tell us? Also, Junpei runs into Blade Maid repeatedly and is basically that guy who bothers the girl until she finally just gives in and starts liking him. Her name's Chidori, by the way, and Junpei's dumbass told her his group is the one using personas. Just another desperate simp risking his homies to impress a girl. Especially when he gets kidnapped at the next full moon. He lied and told Chidori he's the leader. She threatened his life so he'd call off the shadow hunt. Strega still wants to save the Dark Hour. After the group bodies him on a cable guy, they capture Chidori before she can summon her persona and save Junpei's dumbass. Mitsuru's interrogation goes nowhere, so Junpei talks to her over the next couple of weeks. Even though she has special healing powers, Chidori and the other Strega members don't have full control of their personas. And Chidori's damn near chokes her out in the middle of an interrogation until Shinjiro gives her special suppressants. He has them to suppress his own persona, again, because of a mystery backstory we still don't know. Damn it, Atlas! Pharaohs continues to stalk Makoto. You get it, so I'm just going to skip him moving forward. The next full moon arrives, and the team beats up shadows of a discount Dwemer robot and a floaty flower lady. For some reason, Shinjiro and Ken are both missing, but then Akihiko's like, oh shit, today's October 4th. What's so special about October 4th? Ken and Shinjiro are meeting in the creepy back alley because that's the spot Ken's mom died 2 years ago today, and Shinjiro murdered her. What? Ken's all like, I'm gonna kill you. Shinjiro tells Ken, stop being a bitch and just do it. Mitsuru then fills the group in explaining they were chasing a shadow 2 years ago. Shinjiro is new, lost control of his persona, and accidentally killed Ken's mom. That's why Shinjiro left and tried to suppress his power. Back in the alley, Thug Jesus Takaya rolls up with a gun and bap bap puts 2 bullets in Shinjiro while he tries to protect Ken. The others roll up, Takaya escapes, Shinjiro gives deep life advice to an elementary school kid who then watches him die. Normally I'd be like, oh damn. But Atlas has been cliffhanging this plot line forever. We finally figure out what happens, and then they decide to kill off the character. Really? The operation to take out the final shadow has arrived, and the team is headed for the Moonlight Bridge. Takaya and Jin are waiting to stop them, and after the typical bad guy speech, they both get bodied. Instead of continuing the fight, they jump off the bridge. Finally, the 12th shadow, Demonic Pinocchio, is the last obstacle to stop the Dark Hour. It gets obliterated. GG's, we win. For the first time, Creepy Kid Pharaoh shows up in the morning, still giving off super creepy stalker vibes. He explains his memory fragments have all come together. He knows his role and will be leaving. Thank God. That guy was extra sus. The team has their celebration party, takes a really awkward photo, but did you forget? This is a Persona game. Of course it's not over. The Dark Hour's back? There's some weird stuff going on at Tartarus, so the team rushes over and find Ikutsuki and Aigis. Mitsuru straight up calls him out like, bitch, you knew the Dark Hour wouldn't disappear. What the hell is going on? Wait, Ikutsuki has been a villain this whole time? Everything was according to his plan in order to reunite the 12 shadows, summon death, and bring about the fall. Ikutsuki goes cult level crazy when he explains the death of everything will bring about a new beginning. The world has turned into a void, and only hope of salvation is complete ruin. He was one of the Kirijo scientists, and all of this was an effort to continue that batshit crazy project. He set everything up and even altered Yukari's father's recording to get them to continue to take out the rest of those shadows. Before you get a second to comprehend any of this massive betrayal, a reprogrammed Aigis jumps everyone and puts them on crosses, ready to be sacrificed. Ikutsuki wants Aigis to kill Mitsuru's father, but Mitsuru's pleading helps Aigis fight her programming. In that moment, Ikutsuki and Mr. Kirijo both pull out guns and BAM! Aigis frees everyone, Mitsuru runs to her father's side, and Ikutsuki falls off Tartarus. That's a 260 plus floor tower. You know he's extra dead. In complete despair, Mitsuru shakes her father's lifeless body. He's dead too. Damn. The next night, Makoto is transported to the Velvet Room, and Igor drops his paperwork like, don't forget your contract, motherfucker. We still have work to do. Junpei continues to visit Chidori, who pushes him away because she's starting to catch feelings. Then Makoto's class gets a new student named Ryoji. He seems somewhat likable, but Aigis isn't buying his bullshit. She thinks he's sus as fuck. Despite this, Junpei and Ryoji become friends because they're both simps. Mitsuru and Yukari have a heart-to-heart, and Mitsuru refocuses on the mission. Meanwhile, Strega breaks Chidori out of the hospital, and she forgoes her feelings for Junpei to join the bad guys again. To the point where she basically calls out the other group. And when she gets her ass kicked, Junpei rushes in like, what the hell are you doing, Chidori? She's afraid of attachment because she's afraid of loss. With Strega, there is no attachment, only the moment. Junpei brought Chidori fear and pain because she has the feels and doesn't want to lose him. Takaya and Jin roll up, Thug Jesus pulled out his gat, and BAM! Puts a bullet in Junpei? No. Chidori finally admits her feelings for Junpei and uses her super Healy powers to revive him, at the cost of her own life. She is dead now too. Junpei loses his shit and attacks Strega, but they ward off the attack and head into Tartarus to complete their mission. The team retreats to regroup and mourn yet another loss. During the next Dark Hour full moon, Aigis finds Ryoji at the Moonlight Bridge. Why is he here? Aigis confirms her suspicion. Ryoji sus as fuck because they are enemies. She's an anti-shadow weapon and Ryuji is death. Say what? 10 years ago, Kirijo used the shadows to bring about death, but he was shattered into 12 shadows when the process was interrupted by Yukari's father. Even though he was shattered, he was still too strong, and Aigis' only choice was to seal him away in a nearby boy. Makoto? Wait, what? You telling me Pharaohs, Ryoji, and Death are all the same being and they've been trapped in Makoto this whole time? All the creepy kid visits were an unconscious attempt at getting Makoto to destroy the 12 shadow fragments and free Pharaohs? Ryoji finally remembers everything and I guess jumps him in an attempt to stop Death. Girl, you weren't strong enough when he was showered. The hell you think you gonna do now? He basically says, "She fly, don't bother me," when he juggernauts her attack. The others show up and Ryoji calmly explains everything. The shadows are here to rebirth a maternal being who will awaken when she is drawn to Ryoji. He's the appraiser. Before going any further, Ryoji blacks out from exhaustion. The group brings him back to the dorm the next day and he explains the maternal being is called Nyx. If she awakens, everyone will forfeit their will to live. This is the fall. Since being in Makoto, Ryoji is part human now, sympathizes with them, and is willing to offer the group some reprieve. Nyx is inevitable, and if they want to live in peace until then, they have to kill Ryoji. This way, any memory of all things Dark Hour will disappear, and they can live their lives until the eventual end. The final choice must be made by New Year's Eve, after which Ryoji will fade into the Dark Hour. He leaves, and the group discusses their options. Eventually, they all agree, fuck that, we want our memories. If this is the end, we're gonna go out swinging. Fuck you, Nyx, you coming with us. But the choice is ultimately Makoto's. When New Year's arrive, he decides, kill or spare Ryoji. If you decide to kill Ryoji, you get the bad ending. Everything is forgotten and Makoto spends the next couple of months living peacefully until the inevitable end of the world. If you spare Ryoji, as a final plea, he shows you his true form, the persona that beat the shit out of the first major shadow. He will bring nothing but death. Makoto must kill him. But Makoto's like, nah fam, you good. Ryoji's like, well, you're all fucked when Nyx shows up, but you can find her at the top of Tartarus in a month. Good luck. When the day finally comes, the group is worried about losing their memories after the Dark Hour is gone. They make a pact no matter what happens, they will meet each other again on the school roof on graduation day. As they ascend to the top of Tartarus, they run into Jin, who says Ikutsuki created them. Huh? Of course, he doesn't share any more information, so you have to beat it out of him and finally find out that Kirijo rounded up street kids and gave them powers to explore Tartarus. But when the power doesn't emerge naturally, it's hard to control without those suppression drugs. Only 3 out of the 100 kids survived, the current members of Strega. Shadows soon begin to overrun the area and the team leaves Jin to his fate. Then they find Takaya, who's spewing more cold bullshit about salvation. Fuck you, get bodied. Finally, they made it to the top and find Ryoji in his true form as Nyx's avatar. The group takes on the most annoying boss fight I've done in a very long time. But not because it was a difficult fight. Because this boss has 14 fucking phases. Most of us get annoyed at 3. 14? Eventually, Nyx's avatar goes down. We did it. GG's. Game over. Psych! He's back up, says it's too late, and gets swallowed by the real Nyx, which happens to be the moon after it opens up into a giant 343 guilty spark. Everything is fucked. The coffin people are all out, they're all getting attacked by shadows, and the team can do nothing against the might of Nyx. During the celestial beatdown, Makoto's back in the Velvet Room, and through the strength of the bonds he's forged throughout the course of the game, he is granted the Universe card. This will give him the ability to take on Nyx, as Igor explains he has finally fulfilled his contract. Back in reality, despite getting battered by the force of the moon, Makoto floats up into Nyx, where he fights Death's core, represented by a glowing egg thing. Of all things, that's what Atlas chose. Makoto starts getting bodied, but with the belief and support of all his friends, including Shinjiro's ghost, he performs a great seal, sacrificing himself to seal Nyx away forever. Tartarus disintegrates, and the Dark Hour disappears. Miraculously, Makoto makes it back and everyone's overwhelmed with relief. So much so that, I guess, a robot starts crying. Have no idea how that works. The fall was prevented, and with the disappearance of the Dark Hour, no one remembers shit. A couple months later, on graduation day, Makoto's health is starting to deteriorate, and Aigis approaches him saying she remembers everything. During the graduation ceremony, the others begin to remember their pact and rush to the roof. Aigis and Makoto are already there. Aigis has a very touching revelation as she now understands her purpose. Makoto begins to feel sleepy, and when his friends finally make it to the roof, he closes his eyes. He can finally rest. And that's Persona 3 Portable. Many of you might be questioning the ending. Understandable considering this is a very incomprehensible recap. Makoto sealed death within himself to save the world. He sacrificed himself, accepted his fate, and was ready for death. However, he had to keep the pact he made to his friends and used every last ounce of strength to make it to graduation day. He finally died when he fulfilled his vow at being at the reunion. I know. That shit is deep. Don't forget to let me know in the comments, guys, what other games do you want to see? We've already done a ton of other explaining videos, so make sure you check those out as well. I'm La Huerta Blanca, and I'll catch you guys next time.